Today is November 11th, 2022. This is episode 209 of Maelstrom Radio. Maelstrom Radio. With your hosts, Gladys and Shitter. And welcome everybody to Maelstrom Radio. My name is Peter. With me, as always, is my good friend and co-host Quentin. Hey, friend.
Hi.
How are you?
It's Friday. I'm very good.
It's Friday.
It's the weekend.
It is the weekend. And we have a guest.
We do.
And we
Would you like to introduce them?
I would. Hailing all the way from the Final 14. Oh boy. Final Fantasy 14 Submarine Builders Discord. Welcome, Norri Matora. Hi.
Thank you so much. How you guys doing today?
Well, I've now mentioned the Final 14, so who knows what's going to happen now.
Final 14, progressively count down, maybe 13, 12, skip over 11.
At first, I thought he was going to say Final Destination, and I'm like, nope.
Oh no.
We can't slow down to that one.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there's some that Chili's like, but 11 was so good.
Yeah, I know. I want to get the one guy in the comments saying that too. You're out there, man.
Man,
That'll be Chili.
Chili just got trolled. Chili took the bait. Norri, welcome to Maelstrom Radio. So for those people out there who may not know, let's start first of all. Tell us who you are and tell us maybe a little bit about the Final Fantasy 14 Submarine Builders Discord. We'll have more questions to go deeper into it, but like a general intro of it.
Sounds good. Well, my name is Norri Matora. I come from the world of Ultros, from the Primal Data Center for Final Fantasy 14. I am the co-admin of the Submersible Discord for the workshop content revolving around airships and submarines. Airships are kind of forgotten, unfortunately, mostly by both us and by the developers. So it's mostly
what?
just submarine Discord at this point. Yeah, what is an airship even?
Technically, airships is one of the like selling box things for Heaven's Ward. It was on the box. It was like, hey airships, and everyone was like,
that was Diadem.
Hey, airships. Hey, I mean, I saw Final Fantasy Union just came out with an airships video just a couple days ago, and cool airships. Yeah, completely forgotten. What's an airship?
They're used for travel between cities.
Cutscene
for that one time you watched the cutscene.
Is that even still in the new leveling process? Did they cut that out?
Yeah.
It's still in there. They force you under the airship dock at least 3 or 4 times during 1 to 50 MSQ.
And then yes.
And the funny thing is that chunk of the airship area you don't ever get to walk in afterwards. It's a newbies only.
Mm-hmm.
Get out if you're higher than that. We don't want you here.
Mm-mm. You can't harass the new people.
You level to 90, and then you just do that quest later.
Unless you got some know-how on doing some out of bounds in those areas, you ain't getting back to that place. I can't remember how to do that still though. Shh.
And they're talking to like
you can see like the random like one person that shows up every few days.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you go to the new servers and you're like, psst. So new here? Yeah, me too.
Well, that's dangerous. If you're going to a new server hanging out at the bottom, they're going to start thinking you're a bot and report you. You'll end up in that 7.5 thousand deleted accounts list at Square Pump.
Just name yourself not a bot. It's foolproof.
Yeah, not bot. It could work.
Just smash my hand against the keyboard there. No one will figure me out.
Name myself 1.0 Classic.
There, no one will ever figure me out.
Yeah.
You'd crash. We gotta hydrate.
We gotta hydrate. Oh boy, I didn't crack into my water. Oh, I'm terrible. Everyone's gonna have to hear that noise. I guess I can mute myself.
Yep. Well, at least you didn't have to do the shaking on stream this time.
Oh, I don't
Or
want to.
I'm with bot and just point towards someone else. Do I'm with bot, but be a summoner.
Yeah,
Have your little carbuncle next to you.
that's it. That's the
That
bot.
joke works better in Guild Wars 2 because you can actually legitimately have a bot beside you.
Remember Eggy Glamours? Remember when that was
They are a thing.
sorta.
Yeah, they are a thing. Buried in a patch note somewhere.
Yeah,
They're not used.
they threw the glamours
I
on
don't
the
like some
airships.
for airships.
Somewhere between rank 150 for an airship somewhere, yeah.
Yeah,
There is one place that is used repeatedly with airships, though. Airships are still used and very important in the game. Dun Sky.
Oh,
Very first boss battle.
I thought you were gonna say it's anytime we need to like haul something, and Sid is there with his airship.
What, just
I
to
don't think
remind myself that airships don't have handrails?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think Sid's used an airship in a long time in the story.
No, he did. He used one for one of the trials.
You know they only bring him in every single time he needs to steal the show by stealing someone else's invention, right?
Or when they really want
just
Nero.
Legit just did that in the most recent expansion. I don't know how much you guys talk about spoilers. He just walks in, just steals someone else's idea. Yeah, that's totally mine.
That's Sid.
Nero
Used to be.
did nothing wrong.
Nero did many things wrong. None of them in 14, though.
Well,
Was that a Devil May Cry reference?
If it was unintentional.
because Nero did a
One
lot
series
of
I have.
things wrong. Final Fantasy 14's Nero gave us the the AI coffee pot or teapot or the hell that thing is.
Was that Nero? The tea kettle?
Well,
Yeah,
Or was that Sid?
I mean that
No, it
was
was
in collaboration. That's probably the one collaborated project that they worked on that actually works.
yeah.
Fair.
It's also very angry. Remember looking at it? It was always piping hot and steaming, and it looked like if anyone touched it, it was going to explode. But they were like, "Hey, this thing works perfectly. Makes the perfect cup of coffee."
Yeah.
So apparently, infuses it with anger.
How else do you make your coffee?
I don't know, not with anger. What do you? I guess anger, but then like if you do a pour over, that's like disgruntlement.
Well, we were just talking about we make our coffee with crabs, don't we?
Yeah. If you're not crabbing your coffee.
Put some crabs in your coffee.
No.
Bringing the uncontextual jokes in here from pre-stream.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we've come full circle, but I'm pretty sure like halfway through the circle we just stopped.
And went crab.
The circle turned into a crab.
Crab
I
mode.
told you, it's inevitable. Everything evolves into crabs, even jokes.
Yep. To
Welcome-
Chili's detriment.
Yeah.
Crab check.
Hashtag crab check.
You know, we're gonna just eventually we have our frog check emote.
We did have a crab
But
check. Crab in
over
here
the
before.
next like year, we'll just slowly make it closer and closer to a crab.
I mean, crabs are kind of cool.
Won't even notice.
They make bubbles on their
Full
face.
Animorphs on it. Although it's already
Exactly,
an
yes.
animal source
Yes.
of Animorph.
Yeah. Well, Animorphs it.
Just a frog anamorphing into a crab.
Why not?
Just take one. Just take one of you guys' bugs and then turn yourself from frog to person to crab after.
Yeah. Animorph. Boy, these new Animorphs are bad. They're not good.
Oh, my girlfriend could probably talk circles around me about Animorphs. When were they good though? Right? Right? Oh, she's bad.
Oh no.
The
She's
best part of Animorphs was just walking past the library, seeing the pictures, and wondering how you got to the halfway point.
One of these
That
days
sure
I'll
looks
reread
like a
that
horse.
series.
Or the one kid who was like, I'm just gonna stay a bird. What if I just stay a bird? Just stay a bird.
Wasn't so much. Well,
Instead of bird.
It's like one of the first plots where one kid just stays an animal too long and never turned back.
Never turn back. Yeah.
yeah.
Then falls in love with another bird. It's
well,
Animorphs is weird.
well. Oh, Animorphs is dark.
It's so weird.
Animorphs is dark and has like
It is
3 alien
super dark.
species involved. I think at some point it didn't just jump the shark, it kicked the shark and jumped the second shark afterward.
It took the
Well,
other
to be
shark with
fair, it also made the sharks into aliens.
Yeah.
Back into people and back into frogs.
Razors.
crabs.
First, the Animorphs turned into sharks, jumped, kicked the first one, jumped the other shark, and then turned back to a kid, and then aliens arrived. Animorphs.
It's a game of musical shark chairs.
Yep.
Although I'm thinking of it, I don't think that they ever turned into crabs. So that's one thing that did not converge to crab yet. Although the series is
Gotta
done.
save
so
something for sequels.
Yeah.
there's 50 books in the series, plus a second or another book that was after it. Plus, there's I think
There's a book
don't know if there's
after
any
it? What do you,
prequel
what do you,
stuff.
what do you got to clean up after Animorphs?
no. There's the 50 books in the series, and then there's one that specifically focuses on what's his face?
The bird kid?
No, the alien.
Oh.
I think Quentin knows more about this lore.
I was gonna say, what's
that?
Never cared to know.
I read this series like 20 years ago. More than 20 years ago.
No, I was definitely the kid that walked past on the bookshelf and said, "That's a weird transition."
Oh yeah. And it's
then what-
super, super dark. Like the whole story is basically around like war. And a lot of stories focus on like the positive aspects, the things that come out, your friendship and stuff. There's like, no, war is dark. At the end of it, someone ends up with like full on mental health problems. Someone dies. Someone's like stuck permanently in someone has depression. Someone's like there's not a happy ending here.
Animorphs.
Animorphs is for the family. I was
Yeah.
definitely reading Captain Underpants that entire time.
Oh, maybe I just read all the dark books.
Some kid is like in there like, goosebumps, Animorphs. Goosebumps, Animorphs. Goosebumps. Welcome to Horrorland.
Well, they were
Two.
different. They were different eras. Goosebumps was closer to the 80s. Animorphs was 90s.
Was it? I remember Goosebumps in the 90s.
They were still in the 90s, but I think they started closer into the 80s.
I guess if they were watching on TV, they could also watch Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Which
There's a
oddly,
Canadian
True.
show there, right there.
it was Canadian.
Yep.
Yep.
There's also an Animorphs TV show.
There was. I don't know
And
if-
now recently they've started releasing Animorphs graphic novels.
My
The art is
submarine
really
members
good
are
on it,
gonna
too.
wondering, why did you spend 30 minutes talking about Animorphs in a submarine episode?
now I just
Welcome to Maelstrom
It
Radio.
all comes around, man. It all comes around.
Yeah. Recently, yeah, I think they just released the like third or fourth one. Because they only started a couple years ago remaking them, and it takes a little while for them to like do each of them, but they are really good from what I've been told.
Are they piloting them to see if a demographic is out there for that?
Probably, because to commit to making 50 different graphic novels is probably pretty expensive. So they've done a few of them now.
I mean, if it's already going to go
Yeah.
full war horror, maybe you can go full body horror in the graphic novel. So
I kind of hope so.
Well, I can confirm there is no Animorphs dating sim out there.
They're teenagers.
What dating sim isn't?
I think most of them.
Are they?
see, there's a good idea for a Steam game.
Yeah. I mean, they have to grow up, right? They could be adults.
Sure, the
Well,
furry
not
community
not all of them
would
grew
just
up.
be ecstatic at this, you know.
And yeah, Chili's right. Persona is a dating sim, and that's teens. Not wrong.
No, I'm just very disappointed.
And what, Persona?
Yes.
Or the fact that there's not an Animorphs dating sim?
50-50. Rails.
Show title Animorphs dating sim, please.
Vetoed. So, oh wow, losing my voice already. We're only like 10 minutes in.
Yep. Are we?
Maybe a little bit longer. Well, maybe like 50. I don't know when you started. Anyways, Susan's. I already have long-winded talk about Animorphs on the list. Thank you, Susan. In order to placate Susan, placate.
Placate.
In order to make
Placate.
Susan happy, and not give us weird titles for the show later, we have a segment on the show called "Show Us Your Smells" that Susan absolutely loves, and it's when you get to show off cool little things on your desk, like my cute little octopus, which doesn't show up on the green screen, unless I make him angry, then he shows up. But do you have anything on your desk that you want to show off? He sits on my speaker.
Who would you like to address first on that one? Myself?
You, yes, sorry. Our guest. Peter has shown off his smalls many times.
I got
Very
two new
well.
smalls though. Susan wants me to show off.
There you go. I have a little egg that I got from Venice, Italy when I traveled there probably 15 years ago. My sister was very
Very
much
fancy.
into the Venetian masks that they sell over there, and I was
Ooh.
very much into looking at the glassware that they sold there. And my biggest memory of Venice would be, my God, that entire city smells like fish.
Fair.
You got to remember that river that flows right through the middle, that's their latrine. So
I
very
have
beautiful
not
city
been
otherwise.
to Venice nor Italy yet,
You can go
but
to
one day.
you can go on a gondola ride in Vegas and it smells less fishy.
Yes.
It smells like other things, though. It's not fun.
On that gondola ride?
I mean, the gondola ride might be. I mean, I've walked beside the gondola.
It shouldn't smell like anything.
Like, it's
weird.
literally like the whole thing is not that wide.
I mean, my follow-up question would be, were you just smelling Vegas at that point?
Well, yes. I haven't done the actual gondola, but I've walked beside it, and it's like Vegas.
Probably smells like chlorine.
It's
given the
heavy
dirtiness.
chlorine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heavy chlorine and Vegas casino,
So chlorine and
and a
smoke.
little bit of smoke.
Oh, okay.
Chlorine and stale smoke.
Yeah.
That or that pumped air that
And pumped in, yeah.
that-
Because a lot of it's in that like the fake underground where they have the ceiling painted blue and clouds.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that would be the mall under the. Oh shoot! What is that hotel?
There's a few
called?
of them because
I think that's under the. I think that's the mall under the Planet Hollywood.
There's a
yes,
mall
there's one area by the
yeah.
Planet Hollywood. There's another one over by
Caesar's
the
Palace.
Venetian. Could be Caesar's.
There's
I
also
think it's Caesar's Palace.
Yeah,
Does Bellagio have anything?
because that's over. Yeah, well, because
Might
that's
be.
over where the gondolas are.
Yeah.
There's no gondolas over by the Planet Hollywood Mall.
Right.
Chili's like Caesar Palace has them all. So
Okay, cool. It's Caesar's Palace.
I mean, to be honest, I took a shot in the dark with that one. It's been at least 5 years since I've been there. My father has a timeshare at the Polo Towers that we occasionally get to use. I'm not rich by any means. I just had free pizza from someone because I was like, I have no money.
Yeah, that's the nice thing with FanFest this year is I do have family in Vegas, so I can just like drive over and stay with them.
That's
Really
exactly
makes it
what
cheaper than having to fly from Canada.
Yeah, that's actually what I'm planning to do with my FC. Is I'm just gonna use my father's timeshare with his permission and get ourselves a rental and shove every human being we can in there just to make it work. Save some money that
Nice.
way.
Father.
Yeah, in 2018, when we last did FanFest in person, we rented an Airbnb with like a dozen content creators.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually really chill.
Yeah, it was laid back.
More than you would expect.
That's awesome.
It was cool.
So you're planning on heading to FanFest next year then?
I do intend to go over there.
Nice.
Still working on finances, all that, but stuff's in the works. Irons in the fire. We're working on that for my FC to get everyone over there.
They haven't announced anything yet on it. I don't think, right?
They announced.
We know the dates.
Right.
We don't have like ticket sales or anything.
Right. No, we know dates. We know Vegas. Obviously, I don't think they've opened up the sales for the tickets.
No.
Otherwise, I would have snagged them by now.
No, and it's the convention center, which arguably is very large, so it should hopefully be enough tickets to get as many people as they can get in there. So, Hopefully. Maybe.
It was kind of a shit show last time.
I don't know. It was less so than the previous one, but then the one even
No,
before that.
We got tickets easier the first time. I thought. Oh, you didn't try to get tickets. That's why.
Yeah, that's why.
I'll definitely have to see how Square Enix handles their conventions. This would be my first. The last time I went to Vegas for a convention was for EVE Online, way back when.
Oof.
Back when CCP didn't have their head up their butt. So
well, it's true.
You got any fans that play EVE Online out there?
I know, but I don't. But I know the news and I know what's going on over there at CCP.
I was gonna say I'm sorry.
Oh, I haven't heard the recent stuff.
Not good.
I know we have people who used to play EVE Online. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if
they
we have any
sure
current
love
players.
their crypto over there right now.
Oh, no.
Yep.
That's all you had to say. I don't even know, but oh no.
The parent company is the same folks that run Black Desert Online, and ever since they got wind of how much money crypto was making, they're like, we gotta get these gamers working for us and get this crypto into this game somehow. And there's been a pretty heavy refuting of that from that particular game, but you can tell that they just keep on shoving it down their throats, and they're just killing their own game because of that.
What if we took our space trucking game, and we put crypto in it? You want the space miners to mine crypto for us? Yes.
What if we took our spaceship spreadsheet simulator and added a second layer of spreadsheets to that?
Yeah.
You say this like it's it's something that's surprising, but Square Enix went and put the environmentally conscious game that was about eco-terrorism, and then put crypto into it.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, what they did was they put a take a little bit of
crypto for marketing.
Yeah, I was gonna say they put a little bit of a wedge in there. They're like, all right, the games themselves won't have crypto, but we will use those things to sell crypto in other areas. And
I don't have bad ideas, but
yeah,
is what that sounds like to me.
What if
I mean, come on,
the
that's the same team that basically said, it'd be a really good idea. And to be honest, it probably would have been a good idea if it actually got cross-console support. What's a really good idea? Let's do First Soldier. Let's just do First Soldier and just leave it on
phones.
Leave it on mobile devices and let it languish and die in less than a year.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure my lettuce lasts longer.
It could. Technically, First Soldier lasted longer than other people's. But
I was gonna say at least the PM in England lasted longer, but that's not even true. She didn't last 44 days.
Nope, the lettuce one.
Lettuce one.
This one.
That's a British person. I like that reference. Thank you, Chili. She lost to the lettuce.
She lost the lettuce. Chili remembers when CCP flew Siemens his job, flew them out to Iceland for Dust 514. I remember when they were banking on Dust 514. That just failed completely.
It just did not get enough support. The game itself looked good, but unfortunately, one of the biggest reasons why Dust seemed to have failed is because it was in a competitive market where it couldn't stand out for itself all that much. It pressed the idea of it having relatable impact on the actual EVE Online universe, but unfortunately, the impact was rather minimal. It had to do with what was it? Faction warfare at the time, and nobody's sitting there writing headlines about faction warfare. They're writing headlines about nullsec fights at that point. That's the big dudes on the way outside. Don't get me wrong, people enjoy faction warfare, but it's the same kind of thing where you're advertising Final Fantasy 14 for its PvP content.
So true.
That's like a side content thing. I want that to succeed some more, but that's also not what you're advertising Final Fantasy 14 for.
They've been doing a lot of good things with PvP lately, though.
They have. They really have.
Like, I think what they're putting in another. Yeah, there's a whole new arena for Crystalline Conflict coming out in January.
Kugane Castle.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember the
dude?
It
was the castle.
Yeah, and the person. Cool. Remember that guy that throws money at Yojimbo?
Yeah, dude, that was.
Yeah. What? Yeah. He's in there, and I think money's gonna be a mechanic somehow.
I feel like Yojimbo should be in there too.
I hope. We can hope.
I feel like Yojimbo should come back to a specific plot.
Well.
Oh, definitely.
Bring back Greg.
Well,
Back, Greg.
Greg's coming. We just don't know where. We don't know when. Greg's coming.
The intra-inspectoral rift, after all.
Mm-hmm. Gotta love Greg.
Greg's gonna be on some like distant alien planet that we're gonna have to go to help him.
I have a theory about Greg. I guess it's a theory, so I could say a theory.
Okay, wait. Hold it before your theory. Is there any spoilers from 6.2?
Yeah. Technically, yes.
Probably.
Technically, yes.
Well, mostly I want to just warn whoever's listening to the stream first, if you care about spoilers for 6.2, because we are well past the spoiler free point. Before you say anything,
Skip like a minute ahead. It's a quick.
There you
theory.
go.
All right. So the little blue alien, which I will now call PP. PP.
PP poo poo.
Yeah, PP poo poo. Was looking for a contact, right? It lost contact with the creature. It was like, hey, I lost contact with my person and I need to regain that contact. I think Greg was that contact. I think because Greg travels in between interdimensions, and it would make that would be the funniest thing, right? Greg's like, oh yeah, I forgot.
That would fit.
So it would also explain the green why
green chicken?
yes, and that would also explain why So just a thought. Could be, could not be. Don't know.
Or it's not Greg. It's another Yojimbo situation.
I don't know, because I don't know, because Yojimbo was the replacement for Gilgamesh in 10. I don't know. I don't think they've replaced Gilgamesh any other time that I'm aware of.
I mean, technically speaking, that does make it so that 10 does have ties to Gilgamesh at the very end anyway now, since...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, great.
Wrap themselves around that real quick.
Well, it just means Sin's gonna show up. So.
Oh man, I'm waiting for that fight. I mean, this entire
you can't wait to fight a giant skin tag.
Yeah, I want to fight a giant. I mean, honestly, they'll bring airships back into the mix as well.
It's
true. About how irrelevant they are.
Yeah. Skin tags finally bring back the relevancy of airships.
I was just ecstatic last expansion we got the weapon fights, because I've been waiting for them for at least 5 years at this point. And now with this expansion, I'm getting the 4 fiends.
Yeah, it's good.
That's what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's some detractors that have said before, man, I don't like these references. Final Fantasy 14 should be its own game. It's a compilation. What do you want, man?
It is its own game, and that's why it can throw whatever it wants in it.
Yeah,
including references.
Because they haven't thrown Sephiroth in there, so it's like
yet.
Sephiroth has not shown up. So
no, he's not showing up. It's debatable if he's gonna show up, considering they kind of shied away from bringing back what's her nuts from Final Fantasy VIII, since I didn't play that. Last fight of that one, she got replaced by Gaia in the last raid tier in Shadowbringers. I'm sure there's somebody yelling at me saying who their name is.
What can I think of it?
It's on the tip of my tongue.
What is it from?
It's not Eden.
Final Fantasy VIII villain.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't have any idea.
The witch. Are you talking about the witch?
Ultimacia, there we go.
Ultimacia, yeah.
It took me a minute to remember. Yeah, her. She got replaced by Gaia, basically.
Yep.
They took her music, they took her mechanics, and they just threw Gaia over and said, "Good. I'm expecting something similar with Sephiroth. Like, we can't put the guy in there. Can't just put him in there. Let's bring some other dude in there and let him be Sephiroth."
What if we'll give him one wing, one big long sword, but not Sephiroth's name? Jeremy.
It was Greg all along.
But what about Cloud?
Thunder.
We'll upload it to the cloud. It's fine.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry about Tifa.
We got pugilists.
Nimbus.
We do.
Yeah.
No Chili, not that Cloud. Still wish I had the other cloud. Okay. Anyway, I'm declaring the spoilers over now.
Okay.
Anyway, we were here for a purpose, weren't we, Peter?
Maybe.
workshops.
Honestly, I don't even know anymore.
We were talking about how Gilgamesh is actually an Animorph.
Oh, you know what? That actually might be true. Can I get one of us to do the Animorph thing where I just slowly transform into Gilgamesh? No? What about if I turn to Anki? Just like
I feel like
slowly,
that'd be Susan.
slowly turn down into a tiny green chicken.
She already had the green hair
That's true.
at some point.
It's also true.
Bonnie points.
Well, not now. Still.
So
I was gonna say, but yes, we were here for many things. Normally we catch up. We talk about games we've been playing this week.
then we go on a tangent for 20 minutes.
But we went on a long tangent about Final Fantasy 14, CCP, and Animorphs. So really, where do you want to jump in first? We have a live letter that happened today, and we have many things to talk about the Submarine Builders Discord. So
Look, if there's one thing I know that about what I could do is I could definitely derail situations to the point where I'm just the entire train wreck. All right.
That is Maelstrom Radio, the podcast.
yeah,
There you go.
If we do not have a tangent, it is not a show. Or some
It's
chicken.
about that live
foods.
letter, huh?
yeah. Welcome to the train
Yeah,
wreck.
did you
of
want
Maelstrom Radio.
to go into the live letter quick, or did you want to just skip it and go straight?
No, let's go for the live letter. What they even do today?
Cool. So we know the patch 6.3 is coming in January. We already talked about the PvP that's coming.
Mhm.
We do have a new tribal quest coming. Bunny
Yep.
crafting.
Bunny crafting. The bunnies don't think we're friends yet.
Do they?
If not,
No. You start at friendly.
They've been leaving me on red for the last expansion.
Yeah.
They're just really confused why I'm so tall.
Yeah. They're like, you're not the people that showed up. We didn't get a dance party. We didn't. You just leave that one hanging. No, just leave that one hanging. It's fine.
I was
I
thinking.
mean, this is going to be a great opportunity for folks to jump in and finally get their teeth wet on crafting again. I think the content starts at level 80 crafters, if I remember correctly.
It does.
I know for a lot of folks, they I know for my girlfriend specifically, what she ends up doing, she uses the Beast Tribe quest for any particular job that she does not like whatsoever. For instance, she hated doing Black Mage from 70 to 80 in the past, and she used the fairy tribes in order to level that sucker up slowly and painfully. So for the folks that don't like crafting, here's a tribe quest for you. Just do some elaborate crafting. It takes like 2 button pushes, but that.
Anybody think that the mount's gonna be a giant carrot, like a robotic carrot that we like fly around in?
No.
Rocket
No?
carrot.
You don't think rocket carrot? What do you think? Tiny moon?
No.
Tiny moon ship?
You know, I'll take you up on that. I think it's going to be a little cockpit rocket with the same animations as the little JJ the jet plane that we got from Escape.
I can see that. I was thinking some little rocket thing.
Remember
the one thing that I hope that it has is that what is it? Final Fantasy IV music that plays in.
Oh yeah,
in that area?
Yeah, it does.
The town music and the battle music over there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I hope that it plays that.
Oh no, yeah. Now I'll do this because the Beast Tribe quest is super easy.
So it's like, let's see if Peter gets all of his crafting quests to 90 with a tribe quest. Aren't you that one that leveled all of his crafters up to 80?
No, I did some of the work. I did crafting.
I'm not gonna lie, I did that during Heavensward. I used the Moogle quest to go from 50 to 60, and I regretted that decision. But obstinate me still did it anyway. Now I have way too many Moogle tokens to spend. I guess I can get a lot of glass fibers out of it. That's a component for workshops.
Yeah.
Can you sell them?
Yes, but they've been heavily deflated, so I've just been sitting on the tokens. which is also going to be a lot of about what we talk about workshops about how deflated everything is.
Like the airships.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, yep.
Man,
Yep, that's how it went.
they really leaned into submarines. They're just like submarines. Well, like what about the airships? Submarines.
I've been bagging the drum every single expansion, every single halfway point patch, saying this is the patch where they remember airships exist. Turn into a meme every single time, and I'm heckled for it every single time for that matter.
I mean, do they remember that submarines exist at this point?
Yeah, they do.
Do we still get
He did
updates for
actually
that?
get a new map very recently, but we'll cover that during the
Okay.
submarine bit. But yeah, they do remember they exist, thankfully.
They develop for one, but not the other. I don't get it.
It's leagues above what they care about here. You can tell there's a you'll see.
Yeah.
I would have thought it'd be leagues below.
I feel like they're like, there's not many
Yeah.
places to fly to, so why don't we just go underwater? There's like way more water.
I thought we'd get I thought we'd get spaceships at this point, but nope.
That's true.
You say that and then watch. They're like submarines are gonna be forgotten. Now it's gonna be like the aeronautical.
Spaceships.
I mean, hey, if Yoshi P hears me griping enough on this podcast and maybe in the submarine Discord, maybe if you're like, maybe we should give them airships and spaceships at this point.
Let's combine the airship and the submersible and into one like spaceship hybrid thing and send that off to the moon.
Yep. So we got Sophia
collect
coming
With a
cheese.
meteor
back
on.
to the unreal trial.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like Sophia. That was one of my favorite trials. So
That was my first extreme trial that I did on content way back in the day.
I'm so sorry.
oh, why? Sophia's fun.
It made me good at backflips as Dragoon. You gotta
Yeah, I
get
was
good
gonna
at
say-
that, otherwise you take it. I mean, if you don't know how to like position yourself, you use the backflip to oh crap your way out of that one.
Chili
I screwed up. Wee.
says this does mean that Zervon is next, and that's not good. See?
I used to main a bard, so I understand the Wii.
Skip sword disband.
Yeah. Yeah, and then plus I would think also they mentioned that the next ultimate is going to be dropping, but it's a secret. I think it's going to be the Warring Triad. I think a lot of people are like leaning into Omega, but I think if they want to get extra content out, like the next ultimate would be like you would want to like hit up all your points, right? Like let's do a Warring.
BTM it.
I think it still is a toss up between whether it's going to be Warring Triad or the Omega fight, simply because they are currently shoving the Warring Triad through the Unreal Trials at the moment. You could perhaps say that, yeah, they're doing it as a warm up to get ready for the ultimate. I'm saying that they're probably going to want to stay away from having a duplicate fight one after the other. That would be my thought on that.
Didn't we get Ultimate?
We had
we've had
Ultimate
Ultima
way
Unreal
back
as
in the
well.
day, and then Ultimate Unreal came like
Came later.
almost like a whole half expansion later.
Mm-hmm.
Because that came out. The Unreal came out after Ultimates were a thing at that point, so that was a new concept for them. And they're like, let's start with the first one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we ran over them.
I mean, they theoretically, they could do something crazy and do like a 2.0 summons fight, right? Like just all the summons and like do an ultimate and do like an ultimate.
Well, if we're still progressing through the expansions, instead of if they're doing the Warring Triad, then could they do or not? If they're not doing the Warring Triad next, then what about doing the Four Lords?
They could do that too.
We never got to see
horse.
Shoot, what's it called? The horse, yeah. Oh, what's it called? Kieran?
Kieran. Yeah, we never got to see Kieran.
Yeah.
Never got to see Kieran. I was just big old
Kieran's our mount
we're
too.
gonna go fight Kieran, and then nope. We're backing out of the story before we get to do that. We get to have lots and lots of Phoenix the entire time. By the way, how many Phoenixes has this game had so far? Like 4?
Something
5?
like that.
Well, a couple of them were also people.
That's true. Phoenixes of people.
Kieran was just a generic Manticore in Final Fantasy XI.
Wait a minute. I you know what? This is one hell of a callback, but does that mean Louisoix was an Animorph? Why?
No!
I need an artist ASAP.
Oh shit!
Sorry.
Nikes, that makes the Ysail and Animorph.
Oh, I don't think there was any question about that. She straight up did the transformation on the screen.
Yeah.
He's like, she went full Sailor Moon on us, and then got whopped by Ramada immediately after. That's my favorite cutscene, by the way. She turns, she's like, "I'm all fight to whap."
Yeah.
You got him, Ysail. You got him.
Did it. Go team.
That really makes Heaven's Word the Animorph expansion.
It really does.
Yep.
I mean, they
Part
could.
two of the-
They could if they really wanted. Part 2. I mean, if they really want to do like a weird ultimate, they could do like a Dune Sky like. Like they've because those bosses were cool. Like I think all the end bosses were pretty neat. Like
They were, but I feel like anyone who did like that whole raid series when it was current would have severe PTSD if it came back as an ultimate.
I mean,
Ozma Ultimate.
Oh, see?
Oh, there's a lot. I mean, they already give people PTSD for Baldessian Arsenal. Oh no, my pixel ran over the edge. I'm dead and sucked out of the raid.
Oh boy.
I was already rating as red mage at that point. I took the spice off my bar.
Imagine Ozma Ultimate.
No. They just do some other ultimate and like halfway through the fight, then Ozma just drops in, sucks everyone into a void to somewhere else. But it just keeps doing that every time it wants to phase change.
See, Chili did mention that it's spoilers for the old game, but Kefka was an Omega and he absorbed the Triad. Now, what if Ozma showed up? You fought Ozma, and then Ozma sucked everybody in, and then you faced Kefka, and Kefka absorbed the 3 Triads, and they became God Kefka.
Kefka's Ultima now.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you could turn the phases then into just the Sigmascape fights. I'll work with that. I'll work with that.
Oh my god!
Just raw Sigmascape the entire way through. That's my favorite tier. Come on, Phantom Trade was just such a cinematic experience.
It's like Turducken Ultimate. Yeah, that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, wait, wasn't the Ultima the same way?
What, Ultima?
Yeah, or not Ultima. What was the last one that we just did? No,
I
am thinking of Ultima because they had there was 12 different phases to it.
Oh, so the last one they did was the
Heaven's Sword,
Dragon
Song
yeah,
Reprise?
Dragon Song Reprise, right?
Yeah.
And then you ran through, the Knights 12 and everything like that, and then ran through.
It was an alternate timeline where you go through the first chunk of it, repeating the steps you took, and then someone's like, "But what if he didn't die?" And it turns back time. You start the whole fight all over again with LB3, and just try to see how this alternate universe goes. It doesn't end well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool, but man, oh man, Alexander was right. We definitely had to watch Harshaphon die.
Again and again and again.
I could see all times. It all leads back. Listen, all we're saying is that Yoshi P and team wrote the multiverse from Avengers for Marvel.
It was a very beautiful story, and it's amazing that they can cram all that into a 1 15-minute fight.
Yeah,
it's very good.
The new part 2 of the Alliance raid is going to come out, and they showed a screenshot of a floating tree in a golden, like the Windows XP field. So there's that. Make that your background, and maybe replace your starting music to be like the XP starting music. And the new deep dungeon was announced for 6.35 Eureka Orthos. And you need to get to floor 50 of Palace of the Dead, complete Endwalker, and access it. You have to be level 81 or above to enter. And some people, Chili, believe that the entrance will be near the Crystal Tower. That's called Eureka Orthos. And I don't know. I'm excited. I like a deep dungeon. They're fun. They're wacky. They're wacky good times.
Going to the bottom or to the top are the ones always an amazing adventure with a small group of people.
What if we just start going forward? Like, what if we
Well, then you got to go backwards.
What if we also went backwards? What if you could lose a floor?
Then we end up back in Eureka or in Alexander.
Oh my god! What if they did like a negative floor mechanic? You can go up
You
and down.
trying to give me A11 SPTSD over here?
Like, what? Yeah. What if it's like an elevator? Like,
Well, here, wait. Let's go one way. Ortho is like teeth, right?
yeah.
No.
Yep. So what you're saying? Oh, so what you're saying?
No.
So what you're saying? It's the great Wonkavator, right? It can go up, down, left, right, anywhere, any place.
Not where I was going with it, but all right.
All right, take me away, Candy Man.
No, it turns out to get it to Eureka Orthos, you actually have to finish all of Eureka. Clear Magazine Arsenal to get to that one.
Oh no. Well, no.
The last floor of Eureka Orthos was actually Baltazine Arsenal.
I guess I'll never see Eureka Orthos. The new arena we already mentioned. The new custom delivery client. It's a grass blob apparently, an Ilme, and the new island, new island sanctuary stuffs. Which it's a light update. It's not like a full like the second iteration. Like they're just adding some extra things. New treasure dungeon, Elpis centric. It's the spinny one, the spinny wheel. So, I like the spinny wheel.
Yeah, I don't have to move.
Yeah.
I don't have to push the control stick up to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Just push A.
Just push A. New Leap of Faith map, which no idea where we're going next with that, but and 6 new housing wards and subdivisions. Honestly, great news. That's 1,800 plots per ward or something.
Hey, look, that's related to workshops.
Yeah. So that is related to workshops.
Every one of those could be an FC building with a workshop potentially inside of it.
Yes. So let's get to that. So my first question.
First question is Animorphs, right?
First question, where do you land?
How do you craft one of those cube things, the blue ones that glow?
Yeah, how do I get an Animorph? How do I become an Animorph?
Full crab.
Why Animorph? You go full crab mode. With the airship system and now the submarine system, clearly the need was great, right? Like I've been on that. I'm in that Discord and I've used it, and it made it so much easier to understand this. Gonna be honest, a little bit of convoluted system. It's not straightforward as you think. It's not like, oh hey, you can get this one piece and replace it and you'll do better. No, you all are like digging in deeper. Like, listen, you got to take this one piece and this other piece and then get this other
you have
piece.
To finish one piece.
Yeah, all 900 episodes, and you will soon like. Why?
I think up to 1,000.
Like, what was like? Did this start off as like the intention of like we're gonna make a Discord for submarines, or was it like, hey, I'm interested in submarines, and maybe there should be like a place where we can like put all this information, and then it just kind of grew from
Probably
there.
the latter. And
Okay.
Right. Because I was here from the very beginning, at least. Otherwise, I would not be the co-admin at some point.
Yeah.
So it originally started with a thread on the official Final Fantasy 14 forums that nobody visits in the first place. Tried to figure out what the heck these airship and submarines were all about. They definitely started over on the Japanese side a heck of a lot sooner than the American side because, of course, they're on top of this before we are. So we started compiling data. I know that the original airship thread had the most amount of attention when airships originally came out. Airships, when they came out, were such a big thing because workshops prior to that, I don't even know. I would have to ask a couple of my older friends to see what they had to say. But I think workshops just didn't really have much to do to begin with, or if they even existed.
It was like guild buffs, I think.
Probably at most. They probably had the ethereal wheels.
You could build the ethereal wheels, and then you could build the skins for the houses too. Like you could be like, you had access to build like specific walls that weren't purchasable. Like you could be like, I'm gonna build the was the Mog House the first one? Mog House, like you do that. like
right.
That's where that came from. So
right, and they also had the idea that when the workshops come out, there's gonna be one FC centric activity where we're going to have like 10 people involved in shoving materials into the cooker, and yeah, turn into one person being at the workshop slave for that one.
I think
Nobody wants
my
to do workshops, but everyone likes the workshop stuff that comes out of it, especially the money. Uh, so
I
the
remember Susan sending me messages being like, "Hey, can you be a warm body in the workshop while I go and craft things?"
Yep. So I mean, that was don't even get me started on this one. You must have a complete party of 4 people to push stuff in the workshop. Yeah, cool. What are the other 3 gonna do?
Sit there AFK.
They got rid of that. Although technically speaking, the vestiges of that particular requirement are still there. If you have
Mhm.
another person in the workshop with you while you're trying to push things through, it still tells you to stop. You can't.
Ah!
So you have to kick him out of the workshop at that point. Now it's an exclusive kind of thing.
Went from a team activity. Hey, look, we found the I in team.
I can't do it if you're looking. You gotta turn around and whistle.
Oh, work as you whistle. That used to be a thing. And then they exit off the crafter list. Anywho. So it
Like all
started
of our
off as a
teams.
thread in the airships, and then eventually submarines came out, and it started off another thread in the official forums. Back then, airships were a lot more interesting. You actually had to use airships to get to Diadem at the time. They had like
Mhm.
2 different iterations in Heaven's Sword alone for Diadem. The first one was just too hard; nobody wanted to do it, and it was just didn't have anything in there worth a while. The second time around, it still didn't have anything, except, except for a weird emergency mission where if you gathered all your best
Oh
buddies in the zone
yeah.
and jumped in there together and tried to fight the boss, and one person pulled wrong, the entire thing wiped, and you could just call it a wash at that. But it was dumb.
I remember they were like, all right, that's gonna be cool. You're gonna get like leveled weapons, and they're gonna be catch up. Like, but the stats are gonna be random. Like,
Yep.
okay. And then you get like, I got something. I was like, oh, this is all right, cool. I got a weapon, and then like the stats are terrible. Like, why would you do this? This is a terrible
No,
idea.
it gets even dumber than that. That particular raid in the middle that I was talking about,
Mhm.
for one person in the raid, it'll drop a random purple piece of gear that is the same eye level as the Heaven Sword Relic Weapon quest line. What's it called? The animal. It's the same eye level as an animal weapon, so
Mhm.
higher than the raid weapon. Had a higher weapon damage than the raid weapon, but randomized stats on a random class to one person in the raid. Congrats, Black Mage, you just got yourself ninja gear
I did it.
with piety.
Yeah, that would sound about right.
I stab you, heal. I stab you, heal.
It feels so good. No, so obviously no one took it seriously. It just was one of those. I remember the thread knots that came out of that. Where they're like, "You're hiding best and left behind." I'm like, guys, chill. It's like 3 months before Stormblood, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. These are my healing knives.
You're
So
gonna
you
next
had
go
so
like
originally
5
in
stats.
in Diadem 1.0, you had to go discover Diadem via the airships through a specific sector, and then use airship with Mission Cerulean full in order to take your party to Diadem to get the rewards there. They scrapped that idea at one point and said, no, we're going to take the airships over in Ishgard and use Mission Cerulean to get people to Diadem 2.0 instead. And then Diadem 3.0 came on and took away my Darksteel farming spot. So thanks, Square.
Yeah, Square was like, this is for this is FC content. Cool. Well, no, nobody wants
Nobody
to
goes
be.
there.
Yeah, nobody goes. It's like, well, now it's open to everybody. Okay, now people are going.
And it died.
And
Because nobody does firmament either. Well, I mean,
yeah.
people do firmament, people do it for leveling, and then once they got what they got, they're out of there. No one's going back to Diamond to say, I want to be here because I want to be here. Well,
Pegasus.
I'm sure somebody
Yeah.
is, but they don't want to be there technically either. They just want the reward to get out.
Yeah.
I like Diadem 2.0 because I can go for Dark Steel nodes, I can go for Mithril ore, I can go for all kinds of stuff that just spawn there without a timer.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I remember when we had the airship and we could get there. We did it. Even like we did. I remember our small little FC rant did that the first time. We're like, we did it. We got an airship. We could go, and we did it.
Yep.
And we went there, and I remember us doing the emergency mission like at least once or twice.
Mhm. I don't think we cleared it though, did we?
Oh yeah, no, we did, because I remember getting a what weapon did I? It wasn't. Ended up getting one for my Dark Knight.
Actually got a drop.
I got a drop. Oh no, the stats were terrible. No, they were just.
I mean, you
gross.
got a drop. That's still more than anyone else got, and then we got the achievement, and then that was it. Only one person gets that drop.
Yeah, and it was.
So you got something rare.
Yeah, my garbage stick.
You could throw it up somewhere and say, "Look at this cool thing I got. What is this garbage thing? You're never gonna get it." That's what you get. Okay, cool.
This was back when we were on our old server. So this was back when we were on. Oh no! Now we're gonna try to started with.
It's on Primal.
Yep.
It's where a lot of streamers are on Primal.
Yep. Fan for it. Thank you.
That's the one.
Oh boy, we're old.
We're now in Ether on Gilgamesh.
Oh boy, that's great.
Gilgamesh. Isn't that the rate? Isn't that
That's
the rating
the massive
world over
rating one.
on that day? Okay, yeah. Ours over here in Primal would be Leviathan.
Yeah. So
we moved here because it was high population. Also, now it happens to have a massive raid population and also a huge streamer population.
So who knew?
Right on.
Chili's X Ultros.
Yeah.
Thankfully, that kind of evened itself out once the data center travel became a lot more available. So we're good on that.
Yeah. So
we also had to deal with 1,000+ people queues at the beginning of expansions. So
I mean, I think that was almost a lot of servers. So
I think Gilgamesh was worse than most others, though, just because we have a really high population.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want the premium start of the expansion experience where you can't log into anything, just wait for Lunar kind of come around again for a Crystal Data Center.
I mean, that was us on Endwalker release, like 2, 5 o'clock in the morning, whenever it came out, sitting there waiting, getting those lovely 8,000 errors.
I'm still debating which one was worse, the Endwalker release or the Stormblood release for the actual queues. I know Shadowbringers was smooth as butter.
Endwalker was worst for queues. Shadowbringers was worst for content.
You had the three
because there was a lot of early bugs in there.
You legitimately had the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit that were stopping people from getting through MSQ. You had Ralbad stopping you for the first one, Pippin stopping you for the second one, and then if you, God forbid, you sat down on a bench somewhere while queuing into Susano, you came back out of it, you didn't have access to your character for a week because of the animation lock, because it kicks you into the water. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. I'm telling you, that's what Stormblood was.
Thanks, Susano.
Good memories, though. Glad we didn't have to repeat them.
I remember like that. I was so frustrated because I couldn't get through. I was like, I'm just gonna go to bed. I'll wake up early, and I woke up early, and they had fixed it. And then I got stuck at Pippin. I was like, no.
Yeah, because I remember I got through Robon early in the morning, and I tried to like message you, but you weren't up at that point, or you were busy doing other things. And then I got through it. I managed to get through Pippin with no issues. And then you got stuck on Pippin again. Like,
yeah. Like, thanks. Thank you.
Someone should get that error that everyone got during Endwalker and print it out on a big signboard and bring it to FanFest, though.
I kind of remember like typing to you at one point during that. Like, I swear I will put on the title Rob Bond's left arm and go beat the hell of this kid.
Anyways, to get back to summer, we're gonna, they're gonna be just as forgotten as airships by the end of this.
So we got the spaceships coming.
Well, they're about to, yeah. So you created the Discord, you collected all the data, and you're well, anyone who cosplays a bunch of squapes at FanFest, they will. That's not even a question. That's just like who will do it. It came together, and now the submarine Discord now has over 17,000 members, and they're. We did a research.
I stopped counting at 4,000. I don't even know where to look at Discord anymore.
17,000 members, and so now. Like,
I keep getting angry PMs.
It's not just even grown into like information for submarines. Now there's trading on there as well. People are going in and like doing fast back alley deals for items and to make gil. There
That makes it
is
sound sketchy.
yeah, it's just a sketch to it.
Doesn't help that I keep advertising it too. It's like, hey, if you don't want to like sit there and grind for Camosite or pure titanium or crypto Marylocks, just go ask someone. They're probably just getting it by the cartload on the from their submarines, and they don't want it. And of course, as soon as you want something, they put a price tag on it. But
but people pay, like that's the thing. It's not even like a like, hey, I'll give you. They offer sometimes like, hey, I'll give you 2 million if you can give me like 2 or 3. Like it's not even like, hey. So it's not even like weird. Like I'm holding the market upon. Like it's not like that where someone's
no,
like,
no, there's no way with Soga on in the market, you'll never outmarket Soga. That's the
so,
dude that has like 40 different FCs running submarines or something. You'll never outmarket
oh my
Soga.
god. It's like there will be blood. Is like I drink your milkshake.
Well, he knows how to keep his nose out of the market board because if he stays on Fight Club, he doesn't bother anybody. So. Anyway, I should get to that at some point.
So with all the growth that happened around the submarines, it became like a, and we've mentioned that it was like a primarily like we said that was like one of the box features on Heavensward, and with the airships, and they added submarines later on. It feels like something that they keep adding, but it feels also something like that has got like they keep adding content to it, but also it feels like it's gone to the wayside. Like it's there, but like no one, like only people that care, and like magically like things just keep getting added to it. Like someone
Yeah.
one person there at Square Enix is like, I love submarines, and just keeps adding things to it.
Like the one poor sucker that has to keep adding stats to Verminion for each minion that comes out, but you got to do your job somewhere.
Hey, intern. No.
I got a balance for minion for this random, I don't know, shoe bill that just came out.
Wait, no,
Anywho,
they gave up on the balance for it.
Yeah.
there was a reason for them to slowly step away from wanting to throw too much market share into submarines and airships. At the very beginning, when airships came out, end all be all was to get to Sector 24 in the first map, the only map for airships, because it had the zoom mount behind that. That was the last time that Square Enix gave us a mount for airships and submarines. Learned the lesson after that one. I mean, it was highly sought after. It held profitability for a very long time. Figured out how to farm, and then they ground it into the ground. Then we moved on to submarines. It was slow cooking for the first particular map. I would say right around halfway through the first map is when Prism Fire came around and asked if we wanted to open up a Discord just so we can actually compile all the data off the threads. Because if there's one thing that forum treading is for research, is it's slow. It's incredibly slow. You can't rapidly exchange ideas through posts very quickly unless someone happens to be up at the same hour as you are at 4 in the morning trying to say, hey, I think I found a fit that kind of works. Wanted to put some science behind this thing. And we had a whole bunch of collaborators join us into the submarine Discord afterwards and increase the knowledge base to the point where we eclipsed the Japanese community with our knowledge, which was amazing. And actually, we had Pepper from our submersible community go over to the Japanese side and grab all their data too. So now we have that as well.
Yoink. The old yoink.
That's ours now.
The old yoink.
I mean, hey, if they can read English, which most of them do, they're getting pretty good details over from the submersible Discord, and we don't hide anything. As a joke, at one point I was saying, "It's Fight Club. It's a secret to everybody. Don't tell anyone about this, but it's about the worst kept secret because I'm the biggest blabbermouth about it."
Guys like Fight Club? Guys like fighting?
Yep. Anyways, let's talk about that for just a second. There are 3 different ideas when it comes to building submarines. This is endgame discussion, first of all. When it comes to submarines, most people would assume get yourself a submarine that's relatively quick and grabs all the rare and expensive stuff at the end of the last map or whatever. You have a high surveillance stat, you have high speed, low drag, and you get yourself into the last sectors and grab whatever's there and come back with it. We call that an exploration fit, and it works for the most part. But if there's one thing I know about the submersible community or even the player base at large, is that they farm everything to the dust. until it's worth
Right.
nothing anymore. So yeah, it's gonna be very expensive to begin with, and you have to take a look at the calculations, say this is how long it's gonna take, and this is my chances of actually getting the item. And that actually brings me back to why they stopped bringing out the expensive stuff at one point. When they had airship mounts at that point, it was ground to dust. So they tried again on the second map where they brought out an expensive minion called the Meerkat.
Mm-hmm.
The Meerkat had a 9% or less drop rate. I think one of our submersible friends actually did the math on it. I don't want to. It was Auric, I believe, just to remind myself who that was. She at the time figured out that the chances of actually getting a Meerkat was like less than 9%, and sending it out there repeatedly is a lot of time and effort to do so. But we did. First one dropped for me, funnily enough. And of course, I heard a lot of people
Nice.
telling me, put it up for 50 mil, put it up for 40 mil, put it up for 20 mil. Someone actually bought it, and it kind of defined the market afterwards. Whoever's the first on the market board defines the market board afterwards, because you have some sort of listing that's sold at that point, and it goes downhill from there.
Right.
And Square Enix did see that, saw uh, how much money this was pulling in at one point, and saw how fast this thing shot straight down because everyone was farming it. And they do generally want to see expensive items go down in value because they want the player base to have access to it. But they also know they need to make it lucrative for people to be doing submarines. So they also try to mess with the drop rates later on. So
Mm-hmm.
Meerkat was a more extreme example. They came out with a couple other minions later on that were one, uglier, downright uglier, and two, they had like a 20 or 40% drop rate, so everybody was getting them, and they no longer were dropping at 40 million or 20 million gil on the market board. They were more like something reasonable, like 500,000, 400,000, 200,000, all the way until zero. They didn't want people to be priced out of the market anymore, but it also kind of made submarines no longer as lucrative than before. Except we kind of turned the submarine market on its head for a while. This is again before Fight Club, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. I swear I'll get to that in a minute. It turns out we adopted the idea of following something similar that the fishing community did. How do you make money with fishing? You sell to people who think there's money in fishing. You sell them leave fish. You sell them quest fish. That's where the money for fishing is.
I don't know how or why, but the beginning of Heaven's Word and Walker, I'm a fisher. So while I was waiting for other people to do things and catch up, I just took my fisher and I started fishing the very basic stuff right in the middle of Ultraland. Just throwing out my line, like the worst bait ever, and catch it. I threw all that stuff on the market board and it was selling for stupid amounts of money.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that now sells for like 20 to 80 gil a piece was selling for like thousands or tens of
It
thousands
must have
each.
been a
Like,
component in something. It's the kind of thing we gotta know one step back and one step forward of what you're selling in any sort of market situation. It had to be a component. My girlfriend
it's so weird.
was
But they were
fishing
easy fish to catch.
yeah. The weirdest things on the market board sell for high gil. Hell,
Yeah.
you can jump on the market board right now and look at different material grades and find one that's selling above its selling
Oh,
below its retainer selling cost of 90 gil. If you see ones that's sitting
yeah.
there for 10 gil and 99 cents, snatch that up and just dump it out of your retainer quick. Sell it at market retainer value.
Yeah.
No, weird stuff on market boards spike up for whatever weird reason, or because someone's price manipulating. For instance, nobody should be in the gold ingot market right now. Then we get this through Fight Club as trash drops, but every once in a while, I see someone come sweeping through and turn it up to 800. 800 gil per item, and all of a sudden my stacks are selling for way above what they're supposed to be worth. I'm like, oh, somebody's price manipulating today, so sure, they're trash.
Free
It's all
money.
trash.
Thank you for buying my garbage.
Exactly. We actually have a meme in the Submersible Discord. Every time the member brings back treasure, like, "Oh, I brought you jewels, master. I didn't want jewels. I don't want this."
Give me the fluffy minion
um,
or the wood.
give me,
So
give-
exploration fits at the end of the day. Go for the expensive stuff at the end of the map. but they are the first things that also hit 0 in value because everybody in the casual market and the folks who don't know what they're doing, that's what they're going for, which is fine. I mean, that's how you make money. That's how you make money. The next fit that we usually run is a farming fit for Camosite, uh, pure titanium ore, and cryptomerialogs. Those are items used for crafting higher tier gear for your submarines in particular.
Mm-hmm.
That's also what you see in the trading hub as well, besides the uh, what's it called? The workshop materials for discovering new crafts and whatnot. So you can get those items. You can sell that on the market board, or you can take it to the trade channels. Those have fluctuating prices, and they tend to spike around times when the submersible content actually refreshes, and you get new fits and new locations to go to. Everyone remembers, oh yeah, submarines are a thing, and they have to buy Canvasite and PTO and crypto from us again, and we've been stockpiling for an entire expansion. So those are the
Sit and
farming
wait.
fits for that. And the last fit, which is the easiest one to get into at this point, is Fight Club. And I've been alluding to it this entire time.
Finally.
Fight Club is the idea that you have no interest in ever being on the market board ever. You just sell straight to any random NPC the entire loot list that you get off of Fight Club.
Mm-hmm.
Because you are collecting what is called salvaged accessories. You can get extravagant, you can get what's it called? there's like a silver tier and a gold tier for each of these things, and they drop off of 5 specific areas on the first map. On the first map for submarines, the very first thing you unlock and the very first map you complete has all the money on it.
Susan in chat. That's what I do.
Yep. And it's also the easiest to get into. At this point, because our submarines are ranked from between 90 to 100, recently 100. The
Mhm.
only fittings that you need to run Fight Club on a 24-hour cycle, you just log in, collect money, and leave, is the basic 3 shark components from the beginning: the bow, the stern, and the hull. Those are the basic shark components. The only one you have to swap out is the bridge, and you use that with a Coelacanth piece. You only ever build one extra piece after the base set, and go to rank 100 and just level up your things, unlock all the maps. Don't care, just keep going to rank 100, and you go back and do the 24-hour cycle round, and you make yourself 400 to 500,000 gil every single day
Huh.
for
That
one
explains
FC.
why Susan has so much money.
Yeah.
Yep.
Susan's like, I do that, sell them for myself, and give some gil to the FC. All right.
Yep.
Well,
That's why she just dropped 10 million like it was nothing the other day.
it's okay. It's fine. I know. Well, no, it's fine. She gives me money, so it's okay. Like, I'm okay with this.
I mean, there's definitely crafters out there that'll say, I log on, I do my 2 hours of going into the market board, grabbing materials, crafting stuff, and putting it right back up. It only takes me 2 hours to get that done. And they make oodles of cash doing that. I call that actively making gil, though. You are sitting there doing 2 hours of work actively making gil. And you could definitely say that I have a startup cost of sitting there for like 4 months and waiting for these things to level up. Sure. What was I doing for those 4 months anyway, though? For the startup cost of having basically four subs built, I think it's like 4 or 5 mil roughly. And after 4 months, you're making gil by logging in, pushing 2 buttons, and leaving again.
And your costs are recuperated within a week.
Yeah,
Well, 2.
about. I would say 2 weeks at worst. If you know
Yeah.
what you're doing, you're doing pretty good with that anyway. You're keeping costs down to begin with, and you can explore the entire submarine maps, all 4 of them, with just a basic shark fit. There are ways of increasing the speed on that. You can put an Unkoi piece here or there on there, and on the submersible Discord, we do have recommendations if you really want to speed things up. You can replace like one piece here or there. Pepper's TLDR guide does a really good job of telling you what pieces are great for that. But at the end of the day, if you're going for a basic Fight Club fit and you don't mind logging in every single day like you do for the Island Sanctuary to get your money, then that's the way to go. You just make yourself your basic shark fit and add a Coelacanth piece at the end of it. Wait to rank 100 and then do the 24-hour route and you're good.
So, I do have a question.
Mhm.
I know there's like, I guess rumor, or at least maybe it was said at some point during a live letter, or somebody asked about it. Like, I know people want submarines, like people like not FC. People want access to be able to do submarines on their own without being in an FC. How do you think that will change things going forward? Do you think that
I
went
went on a rant about this at one point.
perfect?
And a good rant where I want this content to be available to everybody. I'm an altruist. I like seeing things, having everyone accessing this kind of content, because at the end of the day, FC workshop activities, especially submarines, are top-down income.
Mm-hmm.
If you are in a fairly large FC of like 100 people, you're never seeing a submarine. That's just not going to happen, because that's how basic hierarchy structure works in most free companies, or any guild in any sort of MMO, is that whatever resource a free company or a guild or whatnot has, it gets handled by leadership or whatever managerial staff is there to begin with. That's why when I'm working the workshops and I'm actually pulling in 3 workshops worth of gil off of these submarines, I'm handing out 500,000 gil to each FC member every single month as an allowance, because I want to make sure that they're doing good. Anywho, how I feel about having access for everyone for submarines is this. First of all, I hate the idea that workshops are locked behind a plot. Now, don't get me
Mm-hmm.
wrong. The idea of having a workshop locked behind a plot might be you can make an argument and say that that would prevent bots from creating submarines to begin with, but bots are kind of a run and die kind of situation. They're going to go in, get their money, kind of smash and grab, and get out again after a ban. So they're likely not interested in sitting there for 4 months trying to grind up submarine stuff to begin with. So I don't think that argument holds water anymore. I think FC should have access to a workshop regardless of whether they are affluent enough to actually have a plot purchased on a server. Thankfully, we do have a server housing expansion coming up, so there's going to be a lot more access for FCs and private members to actually get workshop access again. I also heard from Yoshi P that he was considering to add workshops to private estates at some point, which would be very nice for people, because I would say more than half of the housing stuff out there's more personal housing than there is free company housing at the moment. And then I like to talk about the Fermi paradox of workshops.
Uh-huh.
Think about it for a second. How many layers of crap do you have to get through to get to the point where you're running an efficient Fight Club submarine in your FC? One, you have to have an FC. So you have to have enough people that want to hang out with you. 2, you have to have a plot.
Done.
True. Yep.
3, you have to remember that workshops exist to pony up to 500,000 gil to even open one.
Mm-hmm.
4, after that, you
Okay.
have to remember that submarines are even a thing. So you have to go through the process of actually figuring out how to unlock submarines. You have to go get yourself your diving credits in order to do that. You have to figure out what the mammoths are doing. 5, you have to actually build the components at that point. It doesn't come free for you. It's kind of like building a retainer from the ground up. We can rebuild them. We have the technologies. you gotta have to remember you actually have to build the sucker. 6, you gotta send them out. You gotta do it every single day for 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
7, you have to find the submarine Discord.
Yep. Yep.
And 8, then you have to figure out what the joke is with Fight Club. And sure, every single one of those steps, the more convoluted you make a particular aspect of the game, the less player adoption you see in a particular mechanic. I saw estimates a long time ago for how many workshops are out there. There was someone saying that 50% of single player FCs might have a workshop, and it might be running submarines at that point. And you know darn well that there's like all these other FCs out there that are running nightclubs and whatnot. They don't even know how to spell submarines at this point, so they're not running it out of that. Casual players are barely looking into submarines. They heard it from at one point, let's make airships, and they usually get stuck in the airship trap, which is funny because I still get people in my airship channels on my submarine Discord saying, how do I make an efficient airship thing? You don't, you go to subs. There are ways to make money in airships, by the way. There's fine alumen. You can still try to run the zoom mounts at the end of it, and there's also dusk leather at the underside of it, but there's no really good way to route it. where you're making more money than submarines at the end of the day. You're at the whims of the market board. If someone else catches one that you're farming fine element, they're going to ruin your market. I know there is some dude out there who's still sitting on 999 zoom mounts that's just waiting for the day that the price shoots back up so he can break it back down again. It's just not going to happen.
Might have been good like last year when we had that massive influx of people. And then after that, you got to wait for the next one.
That person checks the market every day and looks at their inventory and is like, look at all those chickens.
I'm going to ruin this man's whole career is what he's thinking every single day.
So other than the workshops coming in for single homeowners and non-FC people, what do you want to see next? Like, what is like, because I feel like we said earlier, like we kind of joked, but it is kind of true. Like it almost feels like some like new like, you know, an intern or something like that, like gets kind of handed the submarine stuff, and like, yes, stuff gets added to it, and it's interesting, but it's not like as complex. Or is like, do you think they're going to add something new as they continue on, like spaceship travel, or what would you want to see come out of it?
I want to see land travel, but I don't want to see it tied to workshops.
Trains.
Yeah. Or
out of those get suplexed.
Oh.
How many people actually like sitting there looking at a list under retainers to send it out to level rangers and say, yes, this is good content. Let me just click items on my list to do that. I mean, technically speaking, submarines and airships are also just glorified retainers with bulkier hulls. Honestly, that's just the perfected form. Get used to it.
Finally,
I know who would be interested in this. All of the really upset Eve players who may be coming over.
I mean, you're looking at one of them.
Are you saying my retainers need a butt slider so they have bigger trunks?
There you go. I mean, honestly, if they're not fully 3-ton hull sizes retainers, get out of here. What I'm saying is that I would rather see the retainer system overhauled to the point where we are doing map exploration with retainers as well. The interface for the submarine and the airship stuff is really nice, to be honest. I wish people got to enjoy it a little bit more. I think it's a little bit more intuitive to like plan out your routes and make it look like you're, you know, figuring out the time scales for how fast your retainer is. Maybe you can actually work on stats and gear to show them, like if it's like a weapon speed or how much endurance they have. They can go to a certain distance and pick up certain gear and whatnot. I would like to see maps for retainers so that everyday people who will never see airships or submarines because they are not the higher echelons of their chosen FC get to experience this kind of system on a player-to-player basis for the retainers as well. That's what I want to see. And for the matter of the FCs that don't have access to airships and submarines because they can't afford a plot, I want to see the workshops available to them in apartments, or not even tied to an apartment, in some other neutral area where they can work on workshops as a communal workshop or something, and they can lure it the way however the way they want. That's what I would like to see.
I would like to see it in such a way where, like, if someone does have a plot, they have access to the workshop, and maybe they don't have access to like 3 ships, right? Like, I would still like to see like FCs get like, there's like a balance between what an FC gets and what a single person gets, because there's always that like, what's the point of an FC? You know, like, oh, I have friends and stuff like that, but then like we start to stray further away from like the need of like guilds and FCs and stuff like that in an MMO, where it's like you want to promote, like, you can't say it's an MMO. It's like massively multiplayer online. It's like massively single player online. Like we had like maybe giving them 1 ship, right? Like you get 1 submarine versus the FC, which gets 4. Like you can have 4, and it's like you can still do it, but you get less of it. So it's still like same with like apartments. Apartments would like, oh, you can unlock the access to it via the same thing. You buy the workshop, you get access to the workshop via your apartment, but you still only get 1 airship and 1 submarine. Or
I think
2 submarines versus.
I think Square Enix has its work cut out for itself in order to make free companies by and of itself viable again as things to consider. Simply because at the moment, free companies basically stay there for FC buffs, an extra FC channel to speak in, and a guild tag. Effectively speaking, you get a guild chest, which is just an extended version of an inventory system. I wish we would have more wallets to to create gil allocations with if we have managers that want to hand out gil allowances or something like that. I'd love to just stick 30 million gil into an FC chest and say, here, this gets allocated per person into a specific wall and have it divvied up. This is the side of me talking, by the way. But it's also not necessarily necessary for this game because we're not paying reimbursements. The bit I want to see though is how do you get more content? And what I'm asking is what do you get? How do you get more content into free companies for a system that doesn't really support free companies at the moment
Right.
as something that's important? I mean, in any other MMO, you're using your free company to self recruit into raid parties, basically. You create free companies in order to raid with at that point, but we have no need of that here. We create we create raid groups with our friends in other free companies or in other discords. We have different ways of actually getting together nowadays. This isn't 2005 anymore.
And we've talked about this a bit before, but like there's a lot of other games that do the free company guild idea much better. Like even down to Guild Wars 2 or ESO, where you basically they are glorified chat channels. Like you join it, cool. Like you can join multiple of them to the point. Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
it's more of a community aspect. It's not tied to necessarily like your housing, your well, it's kind of tied to your housing, but like
I mean,
you don't
most
have
of
to
the
do it
time,
to access parts of the game.
a free company is used for, or a guild for that matter, is used for a type of conquest. I mean, look
Yeah.
at Eve. Look at I don't know if Guild Wars 2 has it, but I know that Elder Scrolls has it.
Mhm.
They're using their guilds to basically claim territory and defend it under that particular banner. We don't have that in Final Fantasy. We're not
Right.
sitting there
Yeah.
raiding some other Myst subdivision unless you're just doing it for a rave party, which is hilarious in its own right.
Yeah. I remember when they used to talk about doing guild versus guild stuff or FC versus FC stuff, and like, yeah, that's not happening.
Yep.
I mean, I don't see the developers having an appetite to cause guild v guild
Yeah.
content to happen, which also kind of cuts away an avenue for them to have guild content to begin with. They attempted to do FC content with the airship thing, like I spoke about before, where they
Mm-hmm.
created
Yeah.
Diadem. You had to travel there with the FC airship, and you would create a party, had to walk into that specific FC's workshop, and then go there from there until they said, no, that's stupid. Let's go to Ishgard and do this instead. So they axed that pretty darn quick because they didn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you make FCs relevant at that point besides just having a sticker next to your name and having FC buffs at that point? And my argument might be maybe they're just not relevant to begin with. Not in this game at least. And
Well,
that's
at least
probably
nothing more
fine.
than exactly what you said, like a chat channel and a tag.
Yeah. It's just sad.
But
It is sad. It's also different than what the norm is from other MMOs.
Yeah.
And I would
Right.
argue that they could make up with it by doing content that are group related elsewhere. And I've said before, for people who come and go out of my FC, an FC tag is just a tag in this game.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean anything. The only thing that really happens, is, whether in the FC or not, is the ability to make a free company room and know it's not going to get destroyed. Besides an apartment,
or
Mhm.
access the
that
guild
the
house.
apartment's even more safe than that.
Mm-hmm.
I like, and even with that, like we say that it is just a chat channel or a tag, but or the buffs too, like, but that's not even necessarily relevant as much with world travel now, because when you go to another world, you're now just wanderer, and you don't get access to the buffs.
Exactly. You know,
So,
I did a I did an audit
mhm.
on the FC buffs a while ago. Did you know the XP buff only applies to boss kills in dungeons and
Yep,
to overworld mobs? It does not
yep,
affect the experience you get from the roulettes themselves.
yep.
The only people who are actually benefiting from the FC buffs are the people who are grinding dungeons outside of a roulette. When I looked at that and I thought to myself, is this actually benefiting my entire FC? I said no. So I implemented the teleportation fees buff because
Mhm.
everybody has a teleport. And funnily enough, we actually held a vote on this, and the buff that won out for the second slot is either a toss up between MGP buffs because they just want to go to the gold saucer, which that's always gonna be up because for
Yep.
the Make It Rain
Oh
campaign,
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Make it ring. It's
or
always there.
repair costs. reducing the amount of repairs needed over time because that effectively reduces how much you spend on repairs to begin with. That's also Gil. XP buff. When someone asked me the other day, why don't we have an XP buff? Every other FC has an XP buff. I said, because you can get FC buffs from your free company on a person-to-person basis, and they run for 3 hours.
Yeah. Like, I think we moved away from that constantly doing XP buffs as well. I think they're very valuable for leveling periods. So if you have a very newbie heavy, like new player
Or
heavy
Blue Mage.
FC or blue mage, yeah, but like if you have people that are basically trying to level classes, it's very useful because they are leveling through dungeons. They're playing the story. They're doing all that. Like that would be very helpful for them. So like if you're catering to new players, it makes sense. Or like the first few weeks of an expansion launch when you're trying to get those last levels and go through the story. Like those are the two
Exactly.
scenarios where I think it would be useful. Outside of that, adventuring experience is not terribly useful. Crafting and gathering is useful, but only if you're actively doing those that day.
And I will also say this for the new folks that are actually coming to the expansion, coming into the MSQ for the first time mid-expansion, so they're not coming in
Mhm.
during the first bulk of it. Even if the FC buff is not up, Yoshi P and the developers have done an extremely good job, and I've
Oh,
tested
yeah.
this myself at divvying out XP for MSQ by the boatload. I hit the level 15 quest from the very tutorial. I was already 22.
Yep.
I was so
Yeah, you got
overleveled, it wasn't
massively
even
overleveled
funny.
now.
So no, you don't run out of XP, and having the XP buff from the FC on top of it, it was almost kind of pennies on the dollar at that point. And then the funny thing is,
Mass.
if you're a newbie and you don't have any guild to your name, that teleportation fee reduction is amazing.
So you just need the tickets.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, and if you're starting on a fresh start server, like Chili was on Dynamis there, and like
Oh yeah.
it was almost 40 before you got to the first actual dungeon.
Yeah. Because they gave it all those new worlds
Double XP or
that new XP boost that you get for like a new server. And
It was
boy, that's generous.
well, on top
my
of your feather, on top of your ring, on top of your earring.
Your earring, yep.
You got 3 XP buffs items right there. Plus the server buffs.
food buffs.
Food buffs.
Food buffs. Like
It all adds up.
XP still a thing?
So my girlfriend, her in-game name is Airly Matora. She runs a venue over on Balmung with the group called Burzum. She's going to be opening up a venue fairly soon, within like next month or so. But she was requesting that she would have a couple FC members come in and make some more rooms because she wants to have more private rooms to do stuff and that are like themed and whatnot. She's got a jungle room. She's got a bar in there. All kinds of stuff. So I had a Balmung character from back in Heavensward because I wanted to go visit someone at one point and say hi to them. And I was like, fine, I'll go sit down and actually find this out. I looked at my character and thought to myself, gosh darn it, I am sitting here on Paladin. I don't want to play Paladin. I'm going to have to play this story through Paladin. Get to Sestasha, still on Paladin. Get to the next dungeon. It's Tamtara, still on Paladin. And I thought to myself, no, I'm done with this. I swapped over to Marauder. My Paladin's already 22 because I'm over leveled at that point, and Marauder was leveled up to do Copperbell, still a 15 dungeon, within 2 hours of sitting there just running the random fade, doing a hunt log, and doing a couple extra MSQ quests that I happen to level into. The point is that there's so much XP that the damn game throws at you. You don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
you
no
get your
short
armory
XP
bonus for the
anymore.
second one. 100%
that
XP
too.
bonus.
Oh man.
Until you get to 80, then that sucks. Berries.
We've learned that submarine. We went on a journey. We hit Animorphs.
Crabs.
We crabs.
It all has to come back to crab at some point.
Crab.
Yes, it does. Waiting for
It
my
started
crab
with the
holes for
crab.
submarines.
Crab holes, submarines. Louisoix.
There's a show title name.
Back to Animorphs with Louisoix.
I guess you could
Submarines.
technically say that, since I'm a former Eve player, crabbing was in my nature to begin with.
There it was. Always crabbing. Always be crabbing.
Full circle.
Always be hashtag crabbing.
ABC. Always be crabbing. The one last thing, outside of FC's, in a perfect world, in the next expansion, what do you where do you want to see, if it's submarine still, if it's trains? I know you said that land travel with like a person, maybe one of the what are they called, the people in
Cleaners.
the gleaners would be a good system.
Ooh, there you go. Gleaner
that's
system for retainers. That would be good. I like that. I like
that's
that.
what I was gonna say. Is redoing the retainers? I think would be too much, but making a retainer-like system using the systems that they built for submarines and airships, but doing it through the gleaners, so it's not tied to an FC, would allow you to send people out on those sorts of missions, like you were talking about.
That would not be bad. I would be for that.
And like Susan said, Aaronville would be the NPC that we have to deal with to unlock everything and do it all. So,
Yeah.
yep.
I outfitted them with a shark hole. Go. Like a mech suit, you just set them out.
I mean, I would absolutely not be opposed to seeing them just take the submarine system and copy pasting it into a gleaner system. If they wanted to go that route, then go for it. If they want to add something on top of it, that's fine as well. I just think that the retainer system at the moment is definitely a product of 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was definitely dated.
Yep. And they can make money off of it, so they're just like,
That's for the storage space, though, not the retainer system so much.
I mean, I'll give them this. At least we don't have to park the retainers in the city states to sell stuff anymore.
Bring back the bazaar.
You live here now. This is where you live.
You live here now and cause draw distances to go to 5 inches.
You melt graphics cards. Congratulations.
Now, instead of being in the city states, though, now they're all in the FC houses and dressed in various states of dress.
Mm-hmm.
Dressed in various states of my last expansion's outfit.
Yeah.
You get my hand-me-downs.
Yeah. Look at you. Look at what I used to wear. Neat.
If you want to go full nepotism, just use your same character save data on the retainer. Just be like, ooh, is that me in there looking at me? Lucky me. That is a Barbie reference. I don't think anyone's going to get that run.
I was thinking, though, you could get 2 retainers that look identical, put them on either side of like one of those windows. You get in some of the bigger FC houses, and it can be like a mirror.
Like 2 cats, like a cat fighting itself in a mirror, like just like batting at it, like
That's called Wu-Tang shadow boxing.
Yeah. We know Wu-Tang Clan.
Just waiting for you to say something.
Well,
baited.
And on that note,
good old Dirt McGurk. All right, well, no.
I hope you guys learned something about submarines today. It's just a money hole at the moment, and I'm expecting them to eventually come down and say we should probably balance this a little bit. In fact, we've been saying this for the last 2 expansions, but it's still farm o'clock. So
it doesn't need balancing. It just needs new stuff. Give us more things. Make it more unbalanced. What's it gonna do? No one does submarines.
And like I said, the Fermi paradox of filters in place for people to actually do submarine content. If it had more exposure, if every single FC in the entire game would start running submarines, I think Yoshi P would address it. But in the last time he addressed income levels that were coming in from submarines, he said it's fine.
Yeah,
he hand waved it's fine. We got other problems to worry about.
Yeah.
I think the really key thing here that you mentioned a lot is that it needs to be a lot more accessible for people to do it. Like, I know fishing is a really good example. Fishing is really easy. It's really accessible to a lot of people. It's not hard to pick up, but it's not something that a lot of people did. And then, at least in the last 6 months or so, especially with the Arizona aquarium opening and all that, there's been a huge surge of people who are getting really interested in fishing. And it doesn't take anything more than that knowledge of, hey, there's really cool things you can do with fishing. We have ocean fishing and big fish and all sorts of fancy things. And it's really not that hard if you know what you're doing,
I will say
but
this
it's
as an
really
ad.
accessible.
I will say this for now analogy for submarines. The knowledge behind submarines and how to make good money on submarines is the equivalent of jumping into Eureka and trying to get to Hydatos.
Mhm.
It's
Painful.
you either do it like that, where you think to yourself, "I'm going to sit through this and actually get this, and it's all going to pay off once I finally get to Baldessian Arsenal, I get to write out on my sphere," or you make it to the content similar to doing a deep dungeon where everyone can jump in at a certain level and understand what's going on, do 10 floors of it, and get a payoff at the end of it.
Yeah.
So bite size, not convoluted behind 70 different pages of how do I even press buttons at this point. Don't get me wrong, submarines, if
Yeah.
you actually read through it, is pretty simple. But when you jump into it, it's so daunting. It takes 4 months to do anything. Yeah,
Right. It's a
it
time
downright
commitment.
sucks. But it's
Yeah.
it makes money. It just needs to be more available to people to do. I want it to be similar to Island Sanctuary in accessibility.
Right.
Although technically, don't hide it behind the 90 level content. Come on now, let everyone have an island. Lower to 10 level, please, or something.
That'll happen eventually. Actually,
Hey,
no, we can't have that
yeah,
one.
because somebody was being like, "New adventure, you need rest." They're like, "Yay!"
Point is, I think the Island Sanctuary being hidden behind a 90 quest is a little silly.
I think
At
it's
least
so funny.
Firmament was available after Heaven's War, but goodness gracious, before Tataru walks up on your door, knocks, and says, "Hey, you want an island? You got to save the world first."
Honestly, it's a free island, so I get it.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for much, but hey, I got a free island. But then also they're like, also it's not done. You got to do everything here too. Like, ah, come on, I don't get a freebie. No, all right, well, free
Could have
island, I
been
guess.
worse. It could have been a crypto island.
So true. Could
Who
have
says that's not what we're mining? Square never told us why they decided to give an island sanctuary to everyone.
my mammoths are digging up Dogecoin.
What is this, Ethereum?
Oh,
The hell is a Bitcoin?
what the hell's a Moogle coin? What the hell's
Oh no! Don't give him ideas. Do not give him ideas of Moogle coin. No, 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 no. Oh wait, no. It's not even gonna be Moogle. It's gonna be Namazu coin.
Yeah, it would be Namazu coin.
Mod coin? That's
Ma
short.
coin. Yeah, Ma coin.
Mod coin.
Yeah.
I mean, we got pretty close. We got MGP.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to collect Mod coin on your companion app. Make that relevant again.
Now, if they want to make Verminion relevant, I mean, you'll get a lot of crypto bros, but
No, no, I know where you're going with this, and no, absolutely not.
Are we gonna NFT our minions? NFMs?
Yeah.
Unfungible minions?
Non-fungible minions.
I'm out.
Well, with that, Norri, you want to let people know where they can find, well, you, I guess, is on the Discord server. So you want to let people know where the Discord server is? Is there we'll have a link, of course, in our show notes and in our, when we launch the episode, but at least tell people.
Yep, you can find the Final Fantasy 14 Submarine Discord either by going onto the official forums and looking for the submersible thread. It should be listed in there by our good friend Morgana Brown, who runs the thread. You can also likely find a Reddit post from me here or there where I'm talking about submarines somewhere by looking up Norri Matora submarine. It'll probably pop up in your Google search results because I'm that much of a loudmouth. Other than that, you can find us at discord.gg/capital G, capital A, capital V, lowercase eg, capital X, capital N, lowercase t, lowercase w, capital K. That is our link for the submarine Discord.
That absolutely will be in our show notes. So if you didn't get all that, don't worry. It'll be in our show notes. We will make sure that people get it.
17,000 people. He doesn't need to get like one of those custom URLs.
Yeah.
Man, we've been lazy this entire time. I gotta. Fine. I'll do it eventually. 17,000 people seem to have found us, though, so give us that.
Discord.gg/submarine fight club.
It's all part of the Fight Club aspect. No one should know what it is.
Discord.gg/Animorphs. Nobody knows what's going on.
Discord.gg/crab.
Yeah. Oh, even better. /crab.
I wonder if that's taken.
If there's a crab Discord and I'm not on it, I'm big mad.
I'm Googling this.
Oh, man. I hope there's crab Discord.
There is. It is Crabcord.
Oh, man. I know what I'm doing the rest of my night.
Oh, man. No, you're not lying. It is actually called Crabcord.
I'm really confused because how did they get a custom URL?
I don't know.
With 155 people.
I guess that's all you need, apparently.
That's well below like partner levels, and that's well below.
See, they cared more about their
community
Discord
levels.
than I do. I joke, of course, but man, I really gotta get off my butt and do something about that Discord title.
I need to see a link for Crabcord. I need to be about this in my life.
Literally just type in discord.gg/crab.
Oh my god, are you serious? Discord.
Yep.
That's how an invite code works, yes.
I didn't think that actually would work. So
that's what we just proved, yes. Got a really weird SpongeBob in the back.
Sucking on a pickle.
Well, it happens.
Just don't know when those random pickles will just come up.
Is that a pickle? It looks like a watermelon.
I think that just showed up on camera a little bit and broke at things. So with that,
sure, you do get a custom one, but
yeah.
Yes. All right.
I'm sure I'll bring it up to Prism and say, hey, we should probably do something about this.
Oh, that's a very
She'll be like,
interesting
I'll
name.
talk to you in a week.
Great. Well, the crab Discord broke us. All right. Well.
All right. We'll be back next on Friday, December 2nd at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. GMT with our guest. I'm going to take a shot at this because we haven't actually talked with them yet. Nobutaka Fairclough of the new Final Fantasy XIV podcast, Coffee and Carbuncles.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, keep an eye on that. We are going to be recording and releasing some bonus rounds over the next couple months, specifically because we have holidays coming up. There's Thanksgiving in the US, and then we have, of course, all of the holidays towards the end of December. Also of note, because this is the last podcast before it will change, I am going to be doing Coffee Cast and Chat for the next week or two. However, later on, because I will be away, we may have some changes to Sunday morning streams. So I will be back in the new year, though. So keep an eye on all of that. But yeah, Peter, do you have anything else?
No, Crabcord broke our cameras, so that's...
I'm just invisible now.
Honestly, a fitting end for this episode is that when, if you do not obey the crab will rear its teeth or claws, I guess, and end you.
Crabs don't have teeth.
Well, they make bubbles.
That has nothing to do with Eureka Orthos.
Thank you, everybody. And as always, till see swallows all, keep listening.
Maelstrom Radio is brought to you by maelstromradio.com and Blackfire Media. Produced by Flatus, Shintir, and Susan Sprinkle. Join us live Fridays, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/maelstromradio. Send email to show@maelstromradio.com, tweet us at maelstrom_radio, or join our Discord at maelstromradio.com/discord. Views and opinions expressed by our hosts and guests do not reflect the views and opinions of any companies discussed on today's show.